I have a dream where my penis is cut off, but it's in your hand. You're telling me we got to rush to the
chasing you to the hospital.
I'm the holder of the penis. Okay, got it.
And I'm trying to tell you, it's fine. It's fine. It'll grow back, but you're insistent on rushing to the hospital.
Boys here, the internet's #1 fake history podcast, is back, sneaking into the physical realm through your dreams. I am Peter O'Donohue, and venturing into the fade with me are...
Did you ever have a dream where there was a dream where a demon came at you and he was so big and he wanted to do you? I'm Ethan. Hi.
Hey, I'm James.
That little child would be, if he wanted to do them so bad, he would be like ripe to be possessed by a demon of lust, I think, personally. And turned, I guess, into an incubus.
I don't think the child meant it lustily whenever he said, you want them to do you so bad you could do anything. But maybe he did.
That's how I read it.
That's how Pete's reading
it. Today's episode about mages in the world of Dragon Age was requested by longtime pension-collecting patrons Fragile Shark and Jesterful, fucking all-stars.
Holy moly.
Absolutely, yeah. Both of them wanted to manipulate democracy when I put up Dragon Age mages.
We let them out of their home to listen to this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Tuning the crystal radio over at the home, both of them just in like wool blankets in a recliner. Just like
rocker,
yeah. But because at least Jester wanted to manipulate democracy a little bit and get the mage episode out, I decided to not put up a poll this time and just go for it. So thank you both very much. And if you'd like to join those two, along with our newest patrons, Ren, Archlord Dirk, and Andrew Ernst, you can do so over at patreon.com/theloreboys. I'm saving for a new PC because my rickety old bitch is not going to last.
So I know all those people who joined. They're all good members of the community.
Archlord Dirk has been around for so long, I'd assume they were already a patron. And then all of a sudden, like, hits patron chat, it's like, oh, damn, here's where the real content is. I was like, fuck, really? Damn. It gets hard to track now that we're, like, cresting, like, over 100 patrons consistently. And thank you very much for everybody who's...
Well, we make $4 on every episode. That's what most people don't understand, is that we all have mansions in the Hollywood Hills now. I use my lore bucks to pay a guy to go dig up bodies to look for gold teeth. We kind of have as much money as we can ever need. So, thank you.
I agree. 120 patrons is the we're the richest kings of Europe.
We don't have that many, but
I built the mega yacht that I sail in a pool filled with money that I dug and filled.
Beautiful. So, I know the answer, but for the recap, just because we haven't done a Dragon Age episode in like almost a decade at this point. Seriously? Have you guys played the Dragon Age games? Do you like them? What do you know about mages? Do you know any of the trivia that I can expand on for this here lore episode?
Do you want to start, Jimbo, or do you want me to start?
I probably have less knowledge. We told that old story.
I'm getting a call anyway. Who gives a fuck?
Sorry.
His phone.
I'm turning off my ringer because it was ding-a-linging.
Oh, yeah.
People wanted to play Helldivers.
Jamie, full volume.
Helldivers with me?
I beeped in the theater too at Dune 2. I was like, oh no. Yeah. But
Jamie living alone at home with his phone volume on max is just like such a mood that I feel will not vibe with a lot of listeners.
It's normally on silent, but I was expecting a delivery because I ordered all these things. So that's the story there. But anyways, what do I know? I heard you guys play Dragon Age, one of the early ones back when we were in high school.
We stayed up one. Some would say the earliest.
Okay, I played Dragon Age, Inquisition. And I have Dragon Age Origins that David bought for me, and I expected it to be more of like a walk around RPG, but then it was like kind of like looking down at a 2D map and you like are ordering a guy around and stuff. Does that sound like Origins to you?
Yeah, you have full control of your party in all three games. You can swap between them. The second one is a little bit simplified. The third one did bring back a lot of the more tactical stuff, but like if your main guy you build as a tank, you don't actually have to play your character. You might want to actually control your mages or your rogues or whatever more by hand.
All the games I'd seen were like third person, over the shoulder, open world RPGs. And the one that I started playing that was Origins played completely differently than all the other ones that I played. Maybe
Origins is probably more like Divinity or Baldur's Gate, maybe.
This is games
I've never played.
That's how they played. So I was like not expecting that. So I'm looking at how much game time I have on it. And I've played Origins that David, our mod, bought for me for 16 minutes, and I got tired of it. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, nothing I'm about to say will make any sense then.
Absolutely. I'm ready for that.
So I've beaten the first one. I've beaten the second one, but 15 years ago. So who the fuck remembers the story, let alone all the details? Famously played Inquisition for 16 minutes. Bought it myself. Thank you very much with all my billions and billions of lore bucks. Sitting, kicking back, crystal goblet full of caviar, sucking it back, playing Dragon Age Inquisition.
Caviar and children's blood, playing Dragon Age Inquisition.
The Adrenochrome, for sure. But really loved 1 and 2, hated Inquisition, felt real bad from the jump. Kind of had the same reaction as Jamie, where did not give it a fair chance, but did not feel for a moment like I had to. Just too much of the Ubisoft treatment. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
1 and 2, fantastic games. About the games, about mages specifically, I know they're kept under close watch by the church, whom I don't remember what the church is called. The Templars, I guess.
But the Templars work for the church. We will get into both the Orlesian Chantry and the Templars in this episode. It's what it's all about. It's all about the politics of mages, dude.
Yeah, Chantry was the word that I was looking for. There's demons who look like Voidwalkers from World of Warcraft. Jamie, that's for you.
Thanks.
And for the 2 other people in the world who play World of Warcraft, I guess.
Yeah. All 3 of us have a fun time raiding together. We're great.
So
kind of do all those abandoned 40-man raids as 3 guys. I can't believe it.
It's pretty impressive.
Just like amorphous goo demons, like Pete kind of hinted at the intro, they approach mages in their dream, offer power, corrupt the mages, then the mages get put down by the Chantry at some point. Presumably, that's the purpose of the Chantry at the very.
Yeah. If you had to read the backflap of this episode, that'd be it. Yeah, especially the part about amorphous goo demons. I have to find and replace all that now in the script to replace
I feel like we could probably add another like Lore Boys Take a Drink for amorphous goo demon, because it does feel like it comes up.
It comes up fairly often. I'll hit it after you guys are done.
I'm not working tomorrow, so I'll take. I'm
twisted my.
You're on vacation. Yeah. So
one more day. Tomorrow's my last.
Oh, okay. You're back on Wednesday.
Oh, guys, speaking of drinks, I bought this one just because it is an energy drink that has 300 milligrams of caffeine. 180 is the max in Canada. It has a health warning on it. It's like a pack of cigarettes. And
Jesus Christ!
It's a monster.
What was that like taped in the wheel well of like a Mexican pickup truck coming across the border? Like what the fuck?
It's like Monster 300 because I guess they found a way that you could get more caffeine in there if you advertise it as a supplement.
With the label, yeah.
Yeah, so
that makes sense. Because you can take caffeine pills, right? So you can just like.
I have, yeah.
The recommended dose on the side is like drink 1/54th of a can at a time.
So I don't know if I'm gonna get through the whole thing, but I'll get into that.
You're gonna be fucking.
You're opening it now.
Walls,
it's 8:00.
8:00. You were just talking on the bonus episode about that pen you got. Now you're gonna balance yourself out with a nice 300 mg of caffeine.
Yeah, I would honestly. If I didn't tell you guys, you wouldn't even have noticed. I'll be fine. Except for my camera has gone blurry on me. It's given up. It stopped looking at me. But.
Yeah, James vibrating so hard from the caffeine. There we go. He's in focus.
By the way, Pete, great just ripping a burp right near my microphone.
I'm sorry. I covered my hand and I realized that was the wrong strategy. I did like the in-person politeness thing, but I realized sound travels. It just went around it. Sorry.
Lore boys, you're just hanging out with the boys here, right?
Yeah, we're just lads.
Anyway, we need a burp button like to mute our Discord when we have a burp or cough or whatever. Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of the first Dragon Age game. I can also personally recommend the third, but you gotta you just gotta like slam the main quest straight into your veins. The side content is garbage. Yeah, absolutely. But I really do enjoy the fiction behind it. The second one, I remember replaying it without like the fanboy goggles on. It's fine. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it does establish some very interesting stuff. Anyway. Good timing for Dragon Age as well, because one of my favorite game journalists, named Paul Tassi, and he works over at Forbes, said that he got a little birdie told him a leak said that the next Dragon Age game will finally be revealed this summer and released later this year. They really pulled an Elder Scrolls 6 on this one, and when they had a shitty fucking game coming out, announced something that people would want to play. So they announced Dragon Age Dreadwolf right before Anthem, I believe, in 2018.
Oh,
and
is that what it
since
was?
2018, they have only shown us, I think, conservative estimate, 4 concept art JPEGs about a game that totally exists.
Like E3 has just like come and gone in the time since they've announced it.
It's gone forever now.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's 6 fucking years where they're like, we're working on it. And like, I'm suspicious because, of course, the BioWare that we all remember and love died years ago. But I do hope I'm wrong about Dreadwolf, just because I think Dragon Age deserves, if this is the last one, it just should be bracketed by good games, right? Fuck around in the middle and just finish it up.
We probably covered the E3 episode where it was announced, actually, way back when we used to do E3 content.
E3s,
yeah. When we used to do like non-evergreen content.
It is one of those things, and like it's the same thing with Inquisition, where like, fuck, do I wish that was a good game, because the world is so cool, the story is great, the stories of 1 and 2 is great, and like the start of the story of Inquisition like absolutely had me hooked, but the gameplay was so unbearable when they were like, okay, now go collect a bunch of flowers in the forest, there's demons attacking. You're like, fuck off. Like, you straight
are the leader of the religious, like you are the leader of the military arm of the Vatican, and they're just like, I need spices.
Yeah, guys, like fuck off, man.
I'm remembering this is our
10 oreganos, please.
Pull up our last Dragon Age thing, and I think the last time we said instead of spices, it was 10 chickens. Go kill 10 chickens and come
probably,
back.
I
don't know
what the MMOs.
I don't know what the fucking starting area of the dwarves and WoW ass quest it was, but it was that.
Yeah,
we were literally just talking on the bonus content about how Pete's gotten better at not shitting on stuff and just talking about how he doesn't like things. And now I've turned a new leaf too, and now I'm pulling an old Pete. I'm looking at the Dreadwolf, just the screenshots that they have right now, which for sure are just like concept art at this point, I'm sure. But there's one picture of this like glowing magical city with this like basically like 8/10 or 4/5 like ring floating in the sky with like a wizard's tower on it, and I'm like so hyped for it. And I know I'm not going to play this game, because
and if you do, you're not going to like it.
Inquisition was too bad, so I'm never going to play it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless it comes out and everyone's like, yeah, no, it's actually good, and they figured their shit out. But
yeah, my favorite thing is we're having this discussion. I wrote a little tidbit about this into the script. All that being said, you can't uncool cool lore, no matter how hard EA tries.
I love these episodes. For sure.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the politics surrounding mages in the world of Thedas. Now I'm going to talk about a lot of fake countries. So the primary ones are going to be Tevinter, Orlais, and Ferelden. Ferelden is the main setting of the first game, and I believe also the third. The second game takes place in a city-state called Kirkwall. Did not look up what continent that's on. Orlais is fantasy France, and Tevinter is like the remnants of an old, like, mage-run kind of Roman Empire that has collapsed and still kind of exists, and we're going to get into all that going forwards, but I do want to just give you guys the primary Tevinter, Ferelden, Orlais as the places we're talking about, all within Thedas, which is like the continent. Just so we can get our geography here, because I realized when I was writing this, I was like, I am not giving anyone a point of reference as to where the fuck anyone is standing. So I'm putting that in here now. Basically,
I opened a high resolution map for the episode.
Beautiful. So there you go.
I can be our guy.
Good. You can pull up our clips. So magic appears to have existed forever in Thedas. I had read somewhere that it was described as one of the naturally occurring forces like gravity or magnetism. And magic is drawn from a realm called the Fade, which is where spirits and demons reside. All humans, elves, and Kunari, which is an original race of kind of like pseudo-demonic looking, very buff humanoid race. A lot of them have big horns, males and females. They all travel to the Fade when they dream. So everybody poops.
Sure.
Everybody dreams, and they all go to the Fade when they dream. And like, if you don't have a propensity for magic, you don't actually stay there or get possessed, really. Also, dwarves, which we will get into, completely immune to magic, meaning they do not travel to the Fade when they dream.
Cool. Good for them, honestly.
Yeah, can you imagine just like going to sleep and waking up with no memory whatsoever and you just get back to the mines, dude? It must be so relaxing. No fucking responsibilities.
We yearn for the mines.
We yearn for the mines.
That was
Stone, brother.
That's a show, Severance. You basically have your work self and your home self, and your work self goes into the elevator and then forgets your home self, and then you wake up and you're back at work every day.
Is that what that show's about?
Yeah, and then the home self's trying to figure out what's going on at work, and the work self's trying to figure out what's going on at home, but really they're the same person, leaving clues for each other. It's a very cool show. Yeah.
Cool.
I've heard very good things. There's no fucking way I'm paying for Apple TV. So miss me with that shit.
I have a bridge to sell you, Ethan. I got me a link that gave Bobby a virus. You can have that one.
I remember
$80 a month. I mean, Bobby could get a virus going. Like he'd get a computer virus phishing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his computer would be nowhere within a 90-kilometer radius.
With an F.
He would get a computer
F.
virus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Pete, you actually got Severance when I was watching Severance. So I was trying to get you to watch it, but whenever I tell you about it, you're like, yeah, well, I got a good story about Severance. I don't know. Because you made a bunch of money.
because I was laid off with Severance, of course.
Oh. Yeah. You made a bunch of money when you had another job lined up.
Yeah, that was and then that didn't work out. Then I got another job lined up right away. Thanks, boys. I think that never doubt my ability to land on my fucking feet. I am cat-like in that instance. Anyway,
the Fade. Dwarves don't do it. Dwarves don't lean.
No. They never get hella faded on lean. They're immune to it. They mine the lean out of the earth. So, despite the fact that everyone travels to the Fade except dwarves because they're gross, when they dream, not everyone can use or shape magic or even like pull favors from spirits in the Fade. Much like how we may all dream of magnets, very few of us can actually control them. And when we dream, and when we dream,
boy, are they just gods among us?
Exactly. And we keep them all in a tower in the middle of a lake for safety.
Yeah, our local residents, Magnet Boy, the Great Metal Man, like they're such great people.
And this is what whatever. And when we dream, we don't visit the spirit realm, despite sometimes a few choice among us do wake up with a Chinese accent. The ability to use magic.
It's the context for the clip.
Yeah.
Whenever there's prep work, this reminds me of whenever I had to get a cutting board ready.
Absolutely. This is the same prep that Pete does.
I like to fuck with you guys sometimes.
Yeah,
I like the theatrics.
We do at least like 5 minutes of prep on outside the show for a joke that will immediately pass by. So I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's for both of you. It's not for the audience. It's
it's gonna get pasted in the episode pics, the link to the video.
Yeah,
maybe people know the story of the woman who woke up from a coma with a Chinese accent, but if you don't, check out our Patreon.
Someone tell me it's fake, please. Someone tell me it's fake. That's what I believe.
Could be.
Okay.
Could be.
I think it's real news, not fake news.
Call me Mulder because I want to believe.
So the ability to use magic is something a mage is born with, only generally revealing itself around when the kid hits puberty. But some people, like the elven mage Meryl, are revealed to have abilities much earlier. Meryl was revealed to have magical abilities when she was only 4 years old. People who are familiar with the games would recognize her name. She's a temporary companion in the first game if you start as a wood elf, because there's like the really cool part about the first game is like, I can't remember how many different ways to start. Let's say 6. There's 6 different prologues for the entire game.
Yeah.
Which is a ton of work to do. And it's really impressive.
The first game's so good, man. Like, it's just such a marvel.
Yeah. And then Meryl is a permanent companion.
Sounds like the big wizard Merlin.
Yeah.
Meryl.
Yeah, it's like it's probably where the sound is taken from.
I wonder if that's who they were thinking of.
Well,
either Meryl or the magnet wizard that we discussed earlier.
Magneto?
Yeah, the real guy. Meryl is also a permanent companion in Dragon Age 2. She's a wood elf. They're very much like 4-status society. There's so much fucking Dragon Age lore that I was getting into. I was like, okay, I need to hyper focus here. But there's like different classes of elves and caste systems and all this crazy shit. It's all so cool. It's such a good big chunk of wasted potential. But
yeah,
anyway,
I do want to say, because we've kind of shown our asses already. Dragon Age Origins is the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize that. So I played it because Jamie was describing it. I was like, yeah, that sounds like Dragon Age.
It's Origins, 2, and Inquisition. Very easy to follow chronologically, right?
Right.
But does Origins become like run around open world game, or does it stay a Baldur's Gate game forever?
The combat is always the
all
top
three
down.
of them are four people in a party.
Yeah, I know, but when I played Inquisition, it was like real time. I could swap. I'm a mage, now I'm a tank, and we're running in and we're tag.
Yeah, but there's still a pause option.
You can remove the pause in Origins. Yeah, you can like disable it so that you're like, it's like Final Fantasy VII, like ATB. It's like an action turn based.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe I did a lot more than 12 minutes of a chance to figure out the game. Honestly,
I think so because I love it. But to each their own.
I think we're 2010 now, so like maybe now it might be aged. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it in a long time. Yeah, and also in a cool form of lorifying a game mechanic, a mage's mana, like the bar you see on screen, is a real measurement of how much magic they can pull from the Fade at any given time. It is like a UI representation of the mage's skill, which is very cool. And since magic is just another part of nature, most spells involve manipulating one of the elements: fire, water, either as a liquid or as ice, or lightning, or like imprisoning people in tree roots, shit like that, which I guess would be earth. There's
lightning
stone
or
toss.
lice, which is solid lightning.
I cast lice upon thee, like a spray of bugs.
Scratch.
Oh god,
no reaction, but like just a casual scratch to the back of the head.
You're gonna make me take off my hat to scratch my head, man. It's one of those things.
I scratched the back of my neck just now. I got a little itch there.
Yeah.
Magic can also be used to harness the power of benevolent spirits in the Fade to heal wounds, poisons, or even temporarily raise the dead. You can cast a spell that invokes a benevolent spirit and is just like, you into this corpse, please. Skelly man, fight for me. And then
no, it's your thing, boss. I get him. Who you want me to fight? This wood elf Meryl?
See, you do remember the game because that is a very common quote from a summoned corpse.
I do remember the voice lines at least. It's amazing that it was all voice acted.
The Skelly men all speak in a cartoon voice.
The audio, I remember being very big for that. It's a story we've told before, but I'll say it really quickly. That Ethan and friend of the show Bobby got the first one and played it all night.
Not the first one. To tell you how old this game is, we rented it, so we had a limited amount of time. We rented it from a video store.
Oh yeah, so, it came out in 2009.
Yeah,
I think the first one. It's old as fuck. That was the first game I ever bought with a credit card.
Yeah,
it was Dragon Age Origins,
and it's in the room where the pool table is now. So like where we watched the TV in the morning there.
Yeah,
and there's like a nice sound system.
Yeah. Where I woke up and got a breakfast sandwich to watch Hell or High Water. Of course I know that room.
Exactly.
And I watched Paul. Yeah. We slept. So I'm sleeping there because it's like the middle of the night and Ethan and Bobby were stronger stuff than me and staying up to play.
It was a school night and it was 5 a.m. by the time you fell asleep. So I don't think you're to be blamed, but
yeah. And I woke up like yelling because I thought there was a war going on in my dream just because there's so much clanging and spell casting and like all this stuff.
It was a cutscene where it is the war. It's the cutscene where the spoilers.
Everybody gets killed by the Darkspawn, right?
The prince dies there, or the king dies, right? It's like that cutscene where it's like these two armies clashing with each other, and Jamie just wakes up like,
like uncomfortable on the side like of a couch. A good gaming memory. One of the few all-nighters I remember from.
For sure, yeah. My parents were out of town. We're like, cool. We're just like cranking this round sound and playing fucking Dragon Age till 5 a.m. on a school night.
They probably left us like a few bucks for pizza or something, and it was a good time. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So spirits themselves tend to reflect positive emotions. The examples on the wiki are faith, hope, compassion, valor, and justice. So these are all buff spells, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like you can get a valor buff, which, one, you can't be feared, which makes you lose control of your character or whatever, and you give like defensive buffs and shit like that.
It's still mages that cast this stuff though, right?
Yeah, it's because mages are connected with the Fade. Casting a spell is like the process of asking a benevolent spirit for a favor. There's
no priest class, right? Like that I can recall, like the
no, you can
into
have
the chantry, but they're just like human inquisitors, right?
The chantry, like the actual church and the Templars, they're not paladins. They're like anti-mage cops. And the second half of the episode post-break is much more about the Templars, so we'll put a pin in that. Yeah, exactly. We'll put a pin in that one. There's no paladin class, really. Because the religion in this game, it's very monotheistic. It's very cool. I'd love to do an episode about the Chantry at some point, because I also think Catholicism is very neat as a myth. No offense to anybody out there.
What was our last episode about? Do you remember?
I did the Dragon Age.
You did it.
I'm pretty sure. I've
said this a lot of times where I'm like, yeah, Pete, you did an episode. You guys will be like, no, you did that, Ethan.
Yeah, it's happened a couple times. We did the Grey Warden. I remember doing the Grey Wardens and like the taint of the Darkspawn itself. So like the origins of the Blights, which is like the conflict of the first game.
The taint.
And I remember the taint because it's just never not funny.
We're asking the hard-hitting questions. Was the mailman a Kunari? What's the difference between a big nurse and a normal nurse? So this is where the big nurse joke came from for doctors way back when.
That's a good origin story.
Would blood taste better in coffee? Can I use making love as a natural defense against predators?
These are funny. These are our loser titles for the Dragon Age episode.
Yeah, 2020.
You get them every week.
That's the description. So I'm not sure what we actually talked about.
But, my God. What's the release date before I get back on track here?
Are
we off track? This feels normal.
We're talking about Dragon Age.
It's in our first year. It would have been
first 20 year. Holy moly!
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't have the release date here, but
that's got to be bad. Anyway, spirits themselves, spirits are sexless. Just so they're broadly no maidens whatsoever. They are broadly referred to as it singular because they can take any form, basically. So a spirit can just appear as a cloud of mist or a healing spell, or maybe to comfort you, it'll take the form of someone you recognize. But they're not. They don't have an identity, I guess, would be the way it is. It's like a spirit is an it, as is a demon, because it is pulling from an emotion and not a person, right? That's why you have like pride, valor, justice, lust, that sort of thing, right?
Like that kid who said, "What if a dream would you be ever wanted to do you lust?"
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The lustful child that I was talking about at the beginning of the episode, as we know, is a thing that exists.
Yeah, just making sure.
Heading into the Fade and performing the trick where you pull the tablecloth out from an expensive set of plates without ruining the entire dinner is bound to attract unwanted attention. Eventually, which is why mages are particularly vulnerable to demon possession. Possession mutates the host, and that changes them physically, but the physical mutations change depending on which demon possesses the host body. So if you guys want to open up the two first reference images, which are probably buried at this point, you'll see an abomination and an arcane horror. The arcane horror is the guy with the green orb in his horrible claws.
Okay.
Horrible claws?
Horror.
His arcane horrible claws?
His arcane horrible claws. An abomination is a mage possessed by a lesser demon of sloth or something like that, or even a demon of rage, which is of course the teardrop shaped thing from World of Warcraft that you were talking about, Ethan. Okay. Except it's red because it's like a lava demon because it's rage. An arcane horror specifically is a mage who is possessed by a demon of pride, who, if you remember from the game, the pride demons are the giant kind of ogre-like things that have antlers poking out of their bodies and shit. Mm. You'll recognize it if you want to pull up the clip and add it for the patrons. Please do so. I neglected to do it, but the pride demons are very, very large. Pride, lust, and terror generally are the most powerful demons that you fight in game. Lust often, at least the ones you fight, always appear as a succubus, classic. And the terror demon, I think in Inquisition, starts as kind of a spindly monster with a big, very low jawbone that goes down in the middle of its chest. And then the final fight is it just turns into a big crab, which scary.
Yeah. Well, carcinization. all roads lead to crab, right?
Always crab.
I do want to say, I like to imagine that if we're going to use the magician metaphor to reference your pulling the tablecloth out from under all the dishes, I like to think that a demon gives a magician a rabbit, a beautiful bunny rabbit, and they fall in love with the rabbit, and they play with the rabbit, and they learn to do all kinds of tricks with the rabbit, like pull it out of a hat. Then one day, they reach into the hat, and the rabbit doesn't come out. And who's there but the demon being like, well, you want to make a deal? Huh?
Time to pay up. Yeah.
You're on stage. You're not wearing any pants. Your teeth have fallen out. It's just like that dream.
You guys ever have the dream where your penis is cut off and you have it in your hand and you're rushing to the hospital to get it sewed back on?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Sure haven't.
I have a dream where my penis is cut off, but it's in your hand. You're telling me we got to rush
chasing you to the hospital.
I'm the holder of the penis. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell you, it's fine. It's fine. It'll grow back, but you're insistent on rushing to the hospital. I'm trying to tell you, I'm a lizard, but you won't listen.
I've had that dream too.
You're running like one of those water lizards with the paddle feet in your dream.
That's why I run outside of my dreams too. So.
Yeah.
When Ethan gets scared, he chops.
Lizard.
Yeah, Ethan gets scared, he chops his cock off and runs away.
Yeah.
I drop a decoy penis.
Yeah.
Decoy penis is a very good name for the episode.
It's a thing to put on a t-shirt, honestly.
Decoy penis. Just a broken off lizard tail.
Yeah, don't scare me. I'll drop my decoy penis.
So, according to Solus, this is Solas, so Solus, a companion from Dragon Age Inquisition and an expert on the Fade. Demons are spirits whose original purpose was denied or warped for some reason. The large red photo that you guys can pull up is a concept art for a rage demon. They ended up being more lava-like in game opposed to blood-like. Like this kind of looks like burning blood. The concept art's very cool, but it's regardless,
because you said more lava-like, I was like, oh, it's kind of lava-like because there's like the flames of rage coming off it, but this concept art is very blood-like.
Vascular.
It's vascular, exactly. You see the veins.
Oh,
all over
yeah.
It looks like a heart on fire more than the lava blob that ends up being rendered in the game that looked bad when it came out, but is good enough so it doesn't matter.
It looks like it even has veins like hanging from where I think its eyes are, which is
I think it's like
gross.
Leaping lava or molten something was what I got.
Crying veins.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crying blood.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I here? Oh yeah, another example of example from a companion in game is for the incredibly good expansion Dragon Age Awakening, the expansion for the first game, the Spirit of Justice that transforms in Dragon Age 2 into the Spirit of Vengeance. So in Dragon Age Awakening, the Spirit of Justice possesses the corpse of a man named Kristoff by accident when you're coming back from the Fade. It just ends up in his body. And by Dragon Age 2, it swapped into the body of the mage Anders, who was one of the other companions in Dragon Age Awakening.
Right, yeah.
it's Anders. No, sorry,
Sure.
that's a workaholics joke because Anders always says Anders. Anyway,
Anders.
yeah.
So
Yeah, nobody
Great.
watches that apparently.
Great
Yeah.
joke.
it's very
Nobody
funny.
watches that apparently. While I've got us off topic already, someone did art.
was
Oh,
that
thank God.
Was that the point?
So someone did fan art of Liliana. Damn, look at that. That's
I
beautiful.
mean, yeah. There's.
The ginger? That doesn't look anything like her.
That's definitely AI, right? Looking at that. Look at the background.
Oh,
What is that?
I found what she really looks like. Actually,
Look up Morgana Rule 34, and you're gonna find
Morrigan.
or Morrigan. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna find some because Morgan was the big booba in the game, if I recall.
She is the one that I romanced. Also, her romance option, like they clearly were just like, okay, if we're gonna make a romance option important for 3 games, because she's also in the best quest in Dragon Age Inquisition, where you're like secretly at a royal ball. And like your entire dialogue quest is like you're choosing options and like trying to convince her to tell you secrets while dancing on like a court ballroom. It's just
cool.
There's absolutely remarkable high points in the 3rd game if you can tolerate it.
Great.
God, I wish I could, but
Yeah, just watch cutscenes. Just watch Dragon Age Inquisition cutscene movie and just fall asleep to that. Anyway, so because Anders is a mage, and as we'll get into, the politics of mages here are very complicated. Once the Spirit of Justice is inside a mage's body, he is warped and turns into the Spirit of Vengeance. He's not a demon per se, but he does turn Anders into a pro-mage terrorist, which the end of Dragon Age 2 kicks off the meeting at the beginning of Dragon Age Inquisition, which is interrupted by the giant explosion when Corypheus tries to open the Fade, and we'll get into all that shit later on. And it also Corypheus is the main character of our episode from 1,000 years ago that we did.
Dude, yeah, I mixed this lore up with Elder Scrolls, because there is that mage meeting where they have basically the mage nuke that goes off in the middle of town, and I feel like there's a similar thing in Dragon Age as well.
In Dragon Age Inquisition, there is a mage nuke that kills the Pope.
Right.
Yeah.
My ESO lore covered that. Okay, yeah. There's some similarities there. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than dreams, the second bridge between the physical real world and the Fade is actually the mineral called lyrium. And you guys can open up the blue image there to see what a lyrium vein looks like. It, in the ground, looks like a regular mineral vein, kind of just like bleeding throughout the rock, but it can grow out and get branches, and it glows very bright blue.
Oh, to take it out of the ground is to delirium.
Yes.
Right?
It's very video game for this is magic.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. When refined, it becomes a consumable liquid that can restore a mage's mana pool. So it does directly, again, they glorified the mechanic. Drinking refined lyrium, just it's the 300 milligrams of caffeine that you should not consume in one day. So you can venture into your dreams.
I've almost done it, by the way.
Jesus.
20 minutes later from when you first cracked it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of cool. I feel like there's a lot of games that have like a mana gem or something that a mage can crack to re-up their magic, and having an aura that does that makes sense, I guess.
Raw, unrefined lyrium, however, is immensely magically toxic. Like, whatever the magic version of radiation is, like, exposure to raw lyrium is immensely dangerous.
It's like salt and chlorine, right? Salt, fine for you most of the time. Chlorine, you split it in half. You don't drink chlorine, or you shouldn't.
Yeah. You probably shouldn't drink pure sodium either. I'm pretty sure it reacts very badly with water.
Yeah, I think it catches fire.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it explodes when you put it in water. But yeah,
and your tummy full of water, a lot of it actually.
Most of you is pretty full of water.
Yeah.
I mean, to your point about like this, like unrefined lyrium being radiation, like what is radioactivity in our universe if not magic, right? Like there's just like invisible particles which like split in half on their own and shoot off and hit other invisible particles and cause all sorts
and if
of
it happens
like,
too fast it breaks apart your DNA. It's insane.
Exactly. Come on, what are you talking about?
So it can inflict, because also this is like both radioactive in the physical and in the Fade, right? So it can inflict huge amounts of mental and physical damage to anyone exposed to it, and it will straight up fucking kill mages. Mages cannot be exposed to raw lyrium whatsoever. The only beings who can survive exposure to it in its raw state are the dwarves.
Must be, right?
Yeah.
Of the mining caste, because dwarves have been mining lyrium underground for so long, they have slowly built up an immunity to it.
They've evolved.
They've evolved. Nature finds a way, dude. Don't you worry.
My family's been running lyrium mines for the past 200 million years.
Yeah.
The ale we drink is full of the stuff, and it does nothing else.
These cartoons would have you believe that you'd evolve much faster if you were constantly exposed to radiation. So
you'd die, though, actually.
Yeah.
Well, these cartoons wouldn't have you believe that, but yes.
It just got me thinking about like a cool idea for a roleplay, like a mage in a roleplay game, or like writing a mage or something where everybody thinks they have magic. All they've done is figured out how to get like radiation out of the tip of a wand. So they like do something, and it's like they cast a fire spell, and like sure, there's a burn hole on the person, but it's just radiation.
No,
that's how the heat ray works in War of the Worlds. It's like an invisible ray that just like crumbles everything it touches.
They shoot a particle of like uranium which splits in two, and it hits the salt in your body and splits it into chlorine and sodium, and then the sodium explodes when it
there you go.
And then they use the chlorine for the pools.
Yeah. Very quickly, we need to write down Radiation Wizard as a concept. That's going to be the next Lore Boys comic. Okay, just super quick. TM.
And it could be like a scientist too, who's like playing it off as a mage, and everyone thinks he's magical, but he has his books, which everyone thinks are like ancient tomes, but they're just.
But now this is just radioactive snake oil guy.
No,
right?
yeah, but
now you're just going between like toothless carnies and giving them cancer in a western town.
Yeah, it's true.
Your next your next comic, whenever the Pistol Shrimp or the Black Frontier finally ships, we'll do Radiation Wizard. Don't worry.
Yeah, thank God. And the working title, Radiation Wizard.
Yeah, I like the idea of the hero who is given more valor than he actually deserves. You know, like
just
the
unreliable narrator is like a fun thing to play with, right?
Yeah,
it's your biplane guy from Battlefield 1 that you love so much.
It's also the less a reliable narrator, but it's like people would be like, wow, this guy figured out magic, but it's not magic. Kind of like Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball, where everybody thinks he's like this great fighter, but really it's the Super Saiyans doing everything for him. And
I thought you were going to say Mr. Magoo, like he's just kind of bumbling his way along.
That
Stuff
too.
keeps happening around him.
Yeah,
people attribute it to him. Like.
Mr. Magoo keeps stumbling into towns, giving people cancer. It's weird.
Yeah,
creator the villain of the Radiation Wizard franchise, right?
Right.
It's like
it would be some narc.
Yeah,
trying to tell people that he's lying.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a scientist. Okay, for sure. It's an egghead.
Dr.
Egghead.
Yeah.
Who's just insistent that this guy is not what everyone cracks him out to be.
Oh, exactly. Wait, no. What about like a Dr. Wowie situation where he stole the idea for the radiation wand and like got all the credit for it, but Dr. Wowie was his partner. Yeah. So now he sends all these mech suits who can take the radiation at him.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah. And at the end of the story, they give Steve Jobs cancer with the radiation.
Because Dr. Light...
It's crazy that Steve Jobs in real life ripped off Mega Man. Like he looked at an IP. He said, "I'm gonna do that in real life."
Dude, yeah. Dr. Light took all the credit for Dr.
Dr.
Wowie's
Wily
work.
also died because he went on a juice cleanse instead of taking medicine. That's the end of Mega Man 10.
Yeah, he drowned himself in his little bubble of his mech suit just with all his
like one of those fucking green smoothies with the bumps in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, as far as dwarves go, their society and their caste system is also very cool and complex because they did a ton of work before making the first game. One day, I would love to get into more Dragon Age. If Dragon Age comes out and is good, y'all better believe we're doing a multi-parter on all this shit. I try and chase the SEO a little bit, at least, and now we've got the leak. Anyway, if you play a dwarf in Dragon Age, you cannot play as a magical class, which is really cool. There's a class restriction because they're completely immune to magic. They don't dream, meaning they cannot pull from the Fade.
That's fun. Not to say that everything's derivative, but in the original D&D, a dwarf couldn't be a wizard.
Yeah, and in Lord of the Rings, the dwarf lords were not affected by the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, kind of were. They got all greedy, right?
I think they were already. That's a different episode. I can't remember.
It was the elves that weren't because Celebrimbor cheated, I thought. But
no, because they made the Elven Rings before the One Ring.
Yeah.
Like he said it. All dwarves are greedy. It's not the ring. They're just greedy by nature.
Oh shit, dude!
They're greedy by nature.
The Dark Lord.
You're gonna have a very little protest outside of your office one day.
just the top of a Bristol board and the 2x4 at your window on your first floor. And just the top of whatever Sharpie letters they have up there.
Yeah.
Little squares. So lyrium, I remember hearing, is actually kind of a living mineral. I couldn't confirm that, and even in game, it's just like some scholars believe, which is a thing they say in Ancient Aliens, which I think is so funny. It's just so. And I wish I could remember the YouTuber because I wanted to look it up to like source where I heard this. There's an expansion for Dragon Age Inquisition I didn't play where apparently you discover lyrium is like partially alive, which is how it crosses the realm between physical and the Fade. Because like there's no other evidence of rocks dreaming, I guess. Not like you can fucking ask them. So who knows, right? Lyrium can be corrupted by the Darkspawn taint and turned into red lyrium. The primary villain of Dragon Age Inquisition, Corypheus, who we mentioned because he's very important, uses red lyrium to enslave a dragon, as well as some Templars, which we will get into after the break. Welcome back, everyone. So let's say, I just got a question for you. After listening to that ad, I'd like you to consider something. You are in charge of a massive monotheistic religious organization, and some of your subjects are gaining magical powers during puberty, and some of them turn out to end up being possessed by demons from another dimension. What would you do?
I'd throw them all into the same asylum because they're all crazy people, right?
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I would probably prescribe them a dose of Cerveza Cristal. Cerveza Cristal! Just to date our show a little bit. We now live in a time capsule. But,
this week's meme.
that meme's going around.
So you, the listener, can vote now by texting to 88022 with the answer for our multiple choice question, whether it would be A, Wizard Prison, B, Wizard Prison, C, Wizard Prison, or D, Wizard Prison. So you can text on your phones now. Also, don't text this number unless you intend on texting Donald Trump Wizard Prison a bunch of times. Just
please.
curious to how many people we can get to do that.
We're going to say legally don't, but also, that's his number.
That'd be funny. CNN's on the gym, on TV at the gym all the time, and he's got that number in front of his little podium when he's talking.
That is so great, Pete, because normally, like, I think about so often, like, setting up a big corporation to take the fall for this sort of thing, but then you're just fucking up, some wage worker's life to deal with all these Wizard Prison texts. But fuck you, you're working for the Republican campaign? Yeah, sure, whatever. You signed up for this. Like, get another job.
From outside of the US, it's probably expensive, and maybe it's free or whatever in the US. I think it would be really funny if just like some, fucking Ozempic-induced 3 a.m. truth from him was just like, please stop texting me, Wizard Prison. I think that would be great.
The dream would be him tweeting, please stop texting me, Wizard Prison.
Well, he doesn't tweet. He truths now. He uses his own social media thing, right?
Right. Is it?
I discovered a guy who trolls...
It belongs to the Saudis financially, obviously, but yeah, it's his fucking thing.
He trolls corporations for a living, or turns it into his comedy. And basically he found like one of these big cookie companies, like let's say Mr. Christie, found the CEO, and he found a time where people had to work overtime, and he sent an email pretending to be a reporter. He's like, is it true that this person said this about your workers? And it was something really slanderous. And they're like, no, absolutely not. Where did you get that? He's like, well, I got this one too. And he's like, I don't care what it takes. Get those damn cookies out of the factory.
I know who you're talking about. I think I know who you're talking about. He's got some very good ones for sure.
He's going back and forth. And people are being like, no, that's not real. That's not real.
Yeah. Honestly,
take your time, troll corporations. That's great. Yeah.
Or troll the once the future president, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck. As long as it's free.
We didn't say to do that. We didn't.
As long as it's free. Yeah, exactly. I said not to, just in case.
Yeah.
I also love the idea that there's a cookie baron channeling the spirit of like a textile mill owner who just had orphans at some point.
I think it's
to get the cookies with the rainbow chips in them, which are the best, but like just to get those off the floor and just like to. Anyway, I'm distracted by how funny that is.
Yeah, comedian Ben Palmer.
Ben Palmer. Oh,
hey, Palmer. There we go.
Ben McMillan is apparently an early one from the 2000s who used to have a PowerPoint and would troll companies. I don't know him. I haven't seen any of his.
Beautiful. So prior to the existence of the church in the old Tevinter Imperium, which if a new Dragon Age ends up coming out, I really hope is set in Tevinter. It's hinted at as like the Mage Kingdom and like the relic of the old Empire. A lot of things were pointing at it, and we've seen a lot of different kind of old things in Dragon Age. God willing, Dreadwolf is set in Tevinter. The Circle of Magi in Tevinter were the most powerful mages in the Empire, and they had a ranking system within the circle that is still used to this day. So within the Mage's Tower, the one that we're familiar with from Dragon Age 1 is the tower in Lake Calenhad. There is still a Grand Enchanter and a First Enchanter. The First Enchanter in Dragon Age Origins is an old mage named Irving. So it's First Enchanter Irving. He's the guy you deal with there.
Okay.
He's in charge of the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like, he shows up on the scene first, and then you go to the Grand Enchanter for the triage afterwards kind of thing. But,
No, he's not. He's the mage that summons CPR, I think, at the at the public pool is his thing.
The First Enchanter, yeah.
Yeah. So, you have to take your First Enchanter training if you want to be a lifeguard.
Yeah, someone's drowning, and you just
17.
Yeah. You cast water breathing on their pants, and then everything's fine. Yeah.
So after a schism formed between the people who followed the prophet Andraste, and this again is a whole episode unto itself. She is the prophet. She's the woman who fell in love with the Maker, who is the singular capital M capital G, God of this universe. And which is why, because Andraste is the human prophet and lover of the Maker, is why the divine, the head of the church, is a woman in the Dragon Age universe. In the same way the Pope is a man, because our prophets are dudes in Flesh World.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In her image.
Is David a capital M mod?
It's herstory.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. David's a capital M mod. Maven.
Maven the moderator.
So there was somebody changed his name on the server for him right now, please, just to troll.
I think he could change our names. I don't know how it works anymore.
Oh fuck! I hope
think he
not.
has full control. He's got the
Never mind. I take it back. So there was a schism between the people who were worshiping the prophet Andraste and the old Tevinter mages who wanted to worship the old gods of Tevinter. So there was a schism, and the Orlesian chantry was formed and based out of the not France country of Orlais, which is one of the ones that I had opened with at the beginning there. You guys can open up the heraldries of both the Orlesian chantry and the Circle of Magi right now. They should be the yellow and pink ones, just to see the two organizations here that we're going to be getting into.
That's the logos, those two?
Yeah. We got
a sun and the Omega.
Little sun inside of it, and then we have like the Quake logo.
Yeah, that's it, actually. Yeah. The Chantry quickly became the dominant religious organization in the world and also took over management and like the oversight of these circles of magi. What were you going to say, Jamie? Sorry.
Oh, no, it moved on. It was the logo just looks like it'd been on a t-shirt for 10 years and been in the washer every few weeks. It kind of has those cracks. The
vinyl's cracked.
They failed to wash it inside out. Yeah. Your Pliny shirt looks fine.
I'm starting to get little ones. If my 4K camera could pick them up, but yeah.
So, where the towers, the towers for the mages, like the mages towers, are absolutely a place where mages can be trained, like Hogwarts or the University of Austin. It also has the capacity to lock down and imprison everyone inside, just like Hogwarts or the University of Austin. The security and or wardens for the towers are the Templars, which we talked about before the break. Right. Templars are an order of knights working for the Chantry who have been specifically trained to silence and banish magic. Along with their regular kind of retake the Holy Land style training, their big kind of heavy Teutonic armor and all that stuff, they look like paladins. They also consume refined lyrium. And since to stop magic you need to use magic, at least in some capacity. In Dragon Age Inquisition, you can find the Templar Cullen's Lyrium kit, and it very much looks like a junkie kit, basically, but has a religious idol carved onto the inside. So you can open that one.
A dirty old syringe.
It does have a spoon.
It does have a spoon.
It does have a burn spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a little slicer, a little pump, a little vial for your ketamine.
It's got a whittling of the Maker, I assume.
It's Andraste.
So how does Templars have to silence the mages? Yeah. Are they doing like big shushes at them? Or do they have like really long fingers so they can shush them from a distance?
They do cast Longfinger, but I will get into exactly how they silence magic because it is canon. Longfinger is canon.
Good. They'd be great pianists.
Yeah, they'd be at the other end of the stage, just absolutely going wild.
Yeah, and like
Silent Fingers is actually from the Dragon Age universe. So.
Yeah. That's the rusty spoon in his fucking junkie kit that he's got.
Yeah.
Templars are also dispatched to hunt down renegade or corrupted mages out in the world. Every mage in a tower has a phylactery, just like a lich, which is a vial of their blood that the Templars can use magic to hunt them down literally anywhere in the world. If you have
I seem to recall that. There's like a registry, right?
Yeah, there's a side quest in one of the games. Couldn't figure out which one it was, but I remember doing it where for one of your mage companions, there is a side quest to destroy their phylactery.
Yeah, steal the phylactery. Yeah, I do remember that. Probably the first.
That's
based on the fact that I remember it.
It's the burning off his fingerprints quest, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea. Like when we think of like moving into more like AI and what like uncontrolled AI or robots could do. Imagine they all just had to give their kill code to the Templars. So if the robots get out of control, we got their vial of blood, we got their kill code. We can just there's no problem, right?
I think AI is fucking bullshit, but sign me up day one to be an anti-AI Templar, dude. I'll take that. Give me the binary philactery any day of the week. Fuck
You're Will Smith.
ACAB, all cops are bastard, except for the cops that go around just smashing ChatGPT servers.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking rule.
I'm on that force. Send me out, coach. Right. Templars are also always present along with other powerful mages during a harrowing. This is where a young mage in a tower is exposed to, under perfectly safe conditions, obviously, to a potential demon possession to test if they'd be able to resist it. Those who pass become full-fledged mages, whereas those who fail fucking die and or are subjected to the Rite of Tranquility, which I spelled wrong somehow, which I will get into later. Unlike mages, though, Templars do go through lyrium withdrawal, which is why I think it's so funny that the kit that Cullen has is like just a heroin kit, right?
That's funny. They have to imagine being a young male mage and they send you like a pretty succubus. And they don't tell you it's the test. It's just like overnight. And it would be easy to succumb to that, I believe.
It would be easy to succumb to a succubus. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan shows up offering some throat service. Come on. Come on.
You got to give your mage badge the next day, but who the hell cares, right? At that
point. I don't think I'm going to get through this harrowing. But yeah, so Templars go through lyrium withdrawal because it's not as bad as a Trial of the Grasses in The Witcher, but like becoming a Templar sucks, right? Like you do need the cops do need to get you addicted to drugs, which
it's training day with Ethan Hawke and Denzel, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a great movie, by the way, listeners.
Yeah, I've watched that one recently. That's kind of fun too, and it would be easy to recruit if you just find people who are already addicted. Like, hey, we'll keep your addiction up, no problem. All you got to do is just like mistreat some mages every once in a while. And
I mean, they're feds; they're not inside guys. They're not narcs in the same sense, right?
Okay, but yeah.
Because that is how the CIA operates, just for the record, and the FDA probably, right? Like the FDA is probably going out there giving out like the drugs that they get in drug busts.
The FDA Food and Drug. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, no, but they're the people who
the DEA, not the FDA.
Yeah.
Sorry, the DEA.
No, the FDA. The difference is they're just like Ozempic is for diabetes. The FDA is like Ozempic is for diabetes and it's poisonous to fat people. And then the company that makes it was just like, okay, well, we call it something else now. We call it Wegovy, and the FDA is like, fine by us.
Yeah, they're like babies. They were playing peekaboo, right?
Yeah. It's like no object permanence
for now. Yeah,
in the bureaucracy. No, but they're like the DEA or the CIA. It's very much that. But like Templars are trained from a young age to be knights, and then they do get them. You know, they do need to imbibe lyrium. They need to burn the spoon.
Yeah,
right?
they're elites. They get to go to an island. They get a video of them doing something they shouldn't do.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now they're all of a sudden just they'll never go against you. Yeah,
exactly.
The registry is essentially Epstein's flight logs.
They just got like 30 Bill Clinton phylacteries. They're just like he keeps coming back.
Imagine the sound of like hitting turbulence with that many people in full suits of armor in the plane.
It'd just be like, yeah. So this is where we kind of get into what you had brought up earlier, JB. One of the ways they silence mages, like casting a silencing spell, it involves tethering the mage, the Templar, and the Fade all together during the ritual. But basically, the silencing ritual is declaring that only the physical world is real and convincing the Fade that that's true. So it's basically just being like, nah, dude, cap flag. Magic's fake and shit. Like, you basically just declaring that magic is fake is how they silence a mage.
You gaslight them.
It's temporary. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
is it the magic show that like, well, it's mirrors. I know how he did it. Come on, yeah, it's magnets. He just used magnets.
It's exactly that. Yeah. This
is
the guy
who doesn't even have a middle.
Exactly.
Just crawls out, its legs straight to a head, runs away. Yeah.
that's Kirby, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
her legs go all the way up, baby.
Straight to her chin.
Legs straight to her chin.
Look at those cams.
So consuming or being corrupted by red lyrium that we mentioned earlier will turn a Templar into one of various crystalline monsters. This doesn't happen right away. There is another image that you guys can pull up. This is a red Templar who has imbibed red lyrium given to him by Corypheus, and he probably needs some penicillin or something because there are jagged red crystals kind of growing out of every hole in his armor as it begins to fuse to his body.
Yeah,
there are much larger ex-Templar enemies in Dragon Age Inquisitions that are, like, in some capacity, just a red crystal golem at this point. Like, there's nothing left of the person that was inside.
Right.
It's very cool. So silencing or banishing a spell is temporary, but a more permanent kind of lobotomy-esque solution is the Rite of Tranquility that I had mentioned earlier. The rite disconnects the mage from the Fade completely, turning them into what is called a tranquil. They cannot cast spells, dream, or even feel emotions anymore. They're completely cut off.
Whoa.
You meet a few of them in the game for sure. They're like they're meant to be like the eunuchs, right? Of the period, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
They can
you mentioned most mages experience magic for the first time as a wet dream during puberty, and presumably,
but instead of
magic balls would stop them.
Yeah, instead of like fucking up their bed sheets and being embarrassed about it, they like burn down a barn.
Yeah,
when they hit puberty.
I mean, we've all hit puberty, Peter.
Yeah, we've all burned down a barn. We all understand.
We've all had dreams of Jamie.
We've all had the barn dream.
Self-severed penises and running them to the hospital.
I never quite get to the hospital. Pretty stressed out the whole time. Never get there.
Like actual Quebec healthcare wait times are like canon in your dreams.
Yeah.
Like 22 and a half hours waiting to reconnect your penis.
Showing up into a hospital with your severed bloody penis in your hand and them telling you like, yeah, it's Sunday. You'll probably be here till Wednesday.
Or like Tuesday at 4 a.m. Really.
Yeah. I'm like sitting in the waiting room. My penis is a little tiny book.
No, a really big, actually big and cool book. It's reading Dune. Trust me, 1,000 pages.
Dune two girls at once.
Big. High five it. It just falls off that plastic chair.
Well, there's the artwork, right?
Oh yeah. I'm absolutely gonna draw Jamie high fiving his penis for Dragon Age.
I'll send you some reference pics. Yeah.
No.
There's a live model, I believe, Jamie.
Yeah. Don't worry. Mine's got the power to stretch out and shush you and just press right up against your lips.
Jamie casts long
penis. It's a temporary spell. It's got a 1 week cooldown. So yeah, in the first game, the art style hadn't really been fully developed at this point, but a tranquil can be identified by the sun branded onto their forehead, which is part of the ritual. So it doesn't bother them because they can't feel.
Don't have any emotion about it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, hey, what's up with the sun scar on your forehead? They're like, oh. I don't.
Pain is the weakest emotion. Oh, sorry.
Fear is the mind killer.
Yeah, fear is the mind killer. Pain is the weakest emotion. Yeah.
Put your severed penis into the gum jabbar.
They're holding a severed penis. You're like, oh
no. What's in the box? What's in the box? Come.
Yeah. Horny is the mind killer. It's like he starts getting horny. It's like lifting towards his neck.
There's our t-shirt. Horny is the mind
Horny is the mind killer. Fuck, I'd be shocked if that didn't exist. I don't have my notepads open. Write that down for me.
I'll Google it. Don't worry.
Thank you. Yeah, anyway, so the Tranquils in later games when the art style is refined, they can be identified by the Chantry sun branded onto their forehead. Their lack of emotions make a Tranquil poor candidates for demon possession due to the fact that demons feed off sinful emotions like pride, lust, horny, or sloth. If you can't feel these emotions, there's nothing for them to use. They aren't turned into slaves in the process. They still have free will, but they have no capacity to actually make decisions based on emotion. They are like 110% logical. So generally speaking, they're just like, I weird people out. because I'm cold and I don't smile properly. So I'm just going to continue working in the mage's tower. And they do like organizational stuff, the administrative tasks, sweep, Dewey Decimal System, shit
They like
that.
routines.
Trains, big on trains.
They eat the same foods often over and over again. Yeah.
It's only logical. But yeah,
I've had mac and cheese 3 times this week. Are you telling me I'm a magic eunuch?
You could be. Could be.
What?
I had pizza pockets for breakfast because I don't have an oven.
I showed up at Pete's place and he was eating a pizza pocket. He was just numbing on it. It was
a microwave pizza pocket, no less.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting an oven soon. Don't worry. I am skipping the glasses though. It's pointless. So timer starts today for when Pete gets a fucking oven. All right. As it is for the white trash tracker on the Lore Boys podcast. It's when do I get an oven?
Don't worry, you can get just like one of those hot things, like those little squares that you can plug into the wall. You can do everything from that.
My stove works.
One of those hot things, a little square you can plug into the wall.
It's like a hot plate. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Because Pete's missing an oven, not an.
I have a stove.
He's got a stove.
Stove works. Yeah.
So get a bigger box to put around your hot plate. And
yeah.
Just put
a hot oven and put it inside the oven.
Yeah. It's a plastic container upside down over your hot plate. That's an oven.
Yeah. That'll work great. But yeah, they're not enslaved. They're not
in the mage towers.
Anyway, exactly. Other than Fade-related magic, there are 2 others, both of whom are likely related to the old god and first archdemon Dumat, who we definitely talked about 1,000 years ago in that other episode. Eons ago. Excuse me. That's exactly what I just said. So there's a difference between like the Darkspawn corruption, the taint, and then like other Fade magics that comes from somewhere else. The magic I actually want to end the episode on is blood magic, because it comes up a lot in the games themselves, because it is super fucking illegal, and it is heavily enforced by the Chantry and the Templars that they like. If you thought getting possessed during your harrowing was bad, brother, try being a blood mage out there in the world. Because they will hunt you down and straight up fucking kill you.
The Jom Gabar penis to the neck threatening to kill you is kind of like blood magic, right? Like as the horny goes up, it's blood magic.
Yeah, of course. Horny is blood magic.
Absolutely.
Horny is blood magic. Yeah, absolutely.
No question about it. It preserves bloodlines. It takes a lot of blood pumping to get it going.
Yeah.
It's very entwined with blood, yeah.
I wonder if booze would make blood magic a bunch of blood. Easier.
Yeah, all of us have that.
Yeah,
all of us have that. Yeah.
Ethan getting bombarded with radiation, just being like, yeah.
My penis explode with sodium.
I'm trying to fuse mine back on with radiation.
Got the welder's mask on. Yeah. So blood magic is completely disconnected from the Fade. It is magic completely pulled out of either yourself or other living things around you. Blood magic is notoriously way more powerful than Fade magic because it draws from the physical realm directly and doesn't have to go through the middleman of fucking dreaming, basically.
And that means the Templars can't block it either.
Oh, you know what? I didn't look into that, but you might be right. They still send Templars out to hunt blood mages. So, okay. I mean, a guy in armor can still beat the shit out of some nerd, frankly.
That's it. Yeah. Like, they're probably more dangerous because they can't really block the magic, but they still have to stop the rogue mage, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Shocker, hitting a blood mage in the back of the head with a rock will still kill him.
Right? CIA tips and tricks.
Yeah.
The biggest shush, like a rock to the back of the head.
The watch crown that comes out into like the thin wire so you can choke a man to death, and then on the other table you've got like the pen that shoots a dart, and then just a fucking rock from the yard outside of Langley.
when all else fails, yeah. You guys remember that failed experiment where they tied a rock to a cat and tried to get it to sneak into a Soviet embassy?
That sounds almost real.
No, they wanted to put like microphones, subdermal microphones inside like alley cats to have them spy on the Russians, dude.
They trained cats for like 6 months or something to get them to sneak into a Russian embassy to spy on them. And when the first time they tried to run the operation, cat got run over by a car. Instantly ran into the street and just died.
That's very sad. The animal didn't deserve it, but
sad for the cat for sure.
I love wacky CIA operations. I'm anti-Fed overall, especially anti-CIA. It's fucking so evil.
For sure.
But Christ Almighty, I'd give my left nut to just be the idea guy for the CIA for a week.
I feel like the thing is, you would be supplied with so much cocaine to come up with the ideas that they come up with, right? It's just like,
dude,
that's where all the DEA's cocaine is coming
on 300 milligrams
DEA's cocaine is coming from.
I'm on a government dose of caffeine right now, and I'd say what would really work is birds. Like, the whole birds aren't real thing. There's something to it because birds are like much easier to train than cats, I think. And
you can't train a fucking cat, but birds you can, right?
Yeah, they don't
herding
get run
cats
over.
Is an expression to signify something is completely impossible, right?
Yeah, and herding birds rhymes. So we should really get them.
Herd the bird.
I think that would be the best way. And
they're just Jamie's just showing up, fucking mainlining caffeine to a CIA board meeting, just being like, herd the birds.
Herd the birds. By the way, you guys know anything about that dream about your penis? Never mind. About the birds.
You've got a CIA guy sitting there on a laptop. He's just on his laptop, has a picture of Jamie and a picture of Jamie's penis. He's like, never heard of it.
Yeah. Seriously though, I'll take some of that magic. You guys got Nancy Reagan?
Could you summon Nancy Reagan from the Fade? I just need to talk to her. Find me a picture of her, because I'll do her as a succubus actually for this episode. That's a good one. Where was I? Right. Anyway, like I said, it's Nancy Reagan's blood magic is way more powerful because it draws from the physical realm, and it was apparently, and I didn't look at the Dragon Age calendar, but this is in like a negative millennium in history, so it is prior to like a calendar reset. It's and plus 1,000 years. Blood magic was apparently first taught to an ancient mage named Thalcian by the old god Dumat. So Dumat is responsible for both the taint and blood magic, allegedly. So using the power of blood magic, Thalcian, I really should have read this out loud when I wrote it. Thalcian,
a lot of fantasy bullshit names, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He created both the ruling class of mages of Tevinter and used blood magic to conquer all of Thedas. So blood magic is the power behind the Tevinter Imperium itself, and also, like, again, the ruling class of mages, the terminology they still use within the circles of magi all stem from this
blood magic
millennia-old wizard who allegedly got the power of blood magic from Dumat. Right?
Okay. Cool.
A blood magic ritual was also what caused the first Darkspawn Blight. This is what our other episode is about. When a group of Tevinter mages, including Corypheus, the primary antagonist of Dragon Age Inquisition, breached the Fade and set foot inside the Golden City of Heaven, only to see that, like, the throne had been corrupted by their presence and had turned black and was empty. This is what led Corypheus into his, like, crisis of faith, and is the driving force behind his, like, madness and why he's evil, is because they desecrated God's kingdom and never found him. So it's very much, he's just like, oh, fuck, there is no God. There has to be some answer. Like, the motivation behind Corypheus in Inquisition is cool. I like him as a villain a lot. Again, if you can stomach the game, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. This blood magic ritual of breaching the Fade and entering the kingdom of heaven is also what turned these mages into the first Darkspawn, and also released Dumat as the first archdemon. So when an archdemon appears, it's when an archdemon spirit possesses the body of a dragon. That's the Dragon Age, basically. Okay. And it comes out, whatever. We have an episode.
Which is the one what done killed the king, right? Was the dragon.
Yeah, exactly. They never saw God. God saw the riffraff coming up the lawn, like up the pathway, and was like, whoa, fuck.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Close the shutters with the missing square out of it. We got to get out of here. I can't remember when that was revealed.
That was in the bonus. Find out why I lost. square my window if you listen to the bonus
Subscribe,
content
baby.
on Patreon. Yeah,
Patreon.com. So due to causing the blight with it, the Chantry has outlawed the use of blood magic. I think that's a reasonable. Like, as far as church moves go, all right, that's a classic church dub. I
feel like as soon as you name anything blood magic, you're just asking for it to be banned, right?
You're asking for trouble, right? It's a branding problem.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. You call it what? You call it what now? What does it do?
How about organic miracles?
Okay,
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, look. As far as like, you're on your way to being a very good spook. Frankly, that's a great CIA branding move. That's great.
Yeah, just sprinkle some organic miracles on the body and let's get out of here,
huh? We're just gonna leave him here. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't ask any questions. Don't ask any. If you want your penis back, Jamie, you're gonna stop asking questions right now.
God damn, I knew it was them. That wasn't a real bird in my window when I woke up, was
it? So, this is another thing. I guess this will also kind of date it a little bit. So the Chantry has outlawed blood magic, like I said, and in a very Sleepy Joe-esque way, the current magisters of the modern remaining Tevinter Empire disavow the use of blood magic as a war crime, despite absolutely supporting it constantly without question. So
I mean, that feels still like a timeless dig at the United States, where every U.S. president has done that.
He's just not to date it. It's just like, we recorded this while Sleepy Joe was alive, and just like, sort of thing. But yeah, it is a time. It is a timeless. They still use blood magic for their servants and a lot of other things in Old Tevinter, basically. Yeah. And they're just like
the United States government, not the United States people.
No, of course not. Yeah. I know we've been digging at them a lot recently. It's just fucking easy. So sometimes I take a cheap shot.
Government's easy. Yeah, exactly. To be fair, our government's easy too. Just you guys wouldn't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It would sound like we made it up. So blood
hate the lore boys.
So blood magic can be used to heal wounds. It's not so bad. And on paper, the brand, again, this is very CIA-esque. On brand, it's risk-free. Since you do not need to reach into the Fade, you're not making deals with spirits, you're not making deals with demons, nothing like that. But the temptation to become more and more powerful, and already drawing from the physical realm, makes you more powerful. A baseline blood mage and a baseline mage, you had your first wet dream, right? The blood mage is more powerful.
Oh, right. Wet dream as a blood mage sounds nasty. That sounds like a mess.
It's just a metaphor.
Yeah.
The desire and the lust for power to just consume more and more and more and more actually makes blood mages more susceptible to demon possession than your average mage. Because the emotions it's just so much easier to get more and more hungry, basically.
Well, it's in your blood.
Yeah,
it is, and it's in other people's blood, which is way more convenient because then you don't have to kill yourself for it, right?
Yeah. You ever notice in like Dragon Age Origins, the dragon, like it's kind of painted in a blood splatter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, their logo is a blood dragon.
Shit, dude.
I have the steel book actually cool. on my under my TV. It's one of my favorite little steel books that I've got.
Nice
for Dragon Age Origins. Yeah.
Goddamn bloody dragon.
So blood magic, even within the circles of magi, is illegal, and Templar hit squads, like I said, are routinely deployed to hunt down blood mages, no matter who or where they are. And that's mages, that's magic in Dragon Age. I have been your host, Peter O'Donohue. Thank you for listening. I loved this one. I had so much fun with it. I fucking love Dragon Age. God willing, we do get a new one this year, and it's good. And you can find me at Loreboys Podcast on Instagram. I know I haven't given any comic updates recently. It's going really well. That fake date I set for myself on Valentine's Day, which is a month ago now, was really motivating.
What are you talking about? You give an update every week. You have been giving updates.
Instagram, he's saying.
I'm just being, not so much. I'm just being self-deprecating. It was really useful. The big push for work. It's like a log. Every time I flip over a log, there's more work to do. I love it. It's going well. I'll keep you posted. God willing, the second part will be faster to come up. But regardless, thank you for all your support and thank you for your patience, fellas. Who, what, where, when, and pourquoi?
Discord.gg/loreboys. That's it for us.
And twitch.tv/loreboyjames.
You said it right. Oh my god! I was going to be on protest. I was going to stop saying it.
The listeners are going to hear me say it right, and they're going to be like, "No, Ethan always says it wrong. I'm going to type the other one."
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is why I didn't like the joke from the beginning, because the whole joke is just confusing the two people that would click on the link. I'm going to lose one of them now. But anyway,
that's why I like the joke.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. If you like the show, consider leaving a review and telling your friends and family about the show. I say it all the time. Tell your grandma. Your grandma will love it. Tell your grandmother that you're one of us. Tell your grandmother, she's old. She's confused.
She'd never know.
She doesn't know what's going on. Tell her I did this. Give full credit to you. She'll download it, or you'll download it on her iPhone. We'll get the credit. You'll get the credit. Everybody's happy. Thanks so much for listening. Really means the world. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/theloreboys. We joked about it a lot on the show. We really don't plan to do it so much, but we do a 30-minute bonus episode 30 to 60 minute, I should say, bonus episode before every recording, pretty much. And so sometimes the jokes from that bleed into this because we do it immediately after.
It's been a couple of years now. There's like 110 or so of them. So there's like a lot there. You can really learn a lot more about our personal lives. And if you want the lore of Lore Boys or what we're playing and that kind of stuff, and it's really
over 50 hours of content if you go back through the logs, and it's all just us shooting the shit and chatting kind of like we do.
It's the hangout shit. Like some people have mentioned they miss when we used to get shit housed and hang out and maybe talk about Borderlands a little bit.
We still do it. We just paywalled it.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, we moved all that stuff to cost you $3 a month if you'd like.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you could pay us $3, download all the episodes, and then move on with your life and stop paying us $3.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to send a Templar to chase you down and get my Patreon cash back.
I appreciate everyone who's given us $3.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah, and if you don't trust Patreon, of course, we do have Lore Boys Prime. Gosh, I know I say it every week, but we are really offering something really, really special this week. We got her. We got her this week.
Nancy Reagan?
The ghost of the throat goat, Nancy Reagan.
Oh my god.
CIA drone, so she is in the body of a pigeon. But to all our Prime subscribers, you'll get a little throat action from the pigeon goat herself.
You know what? I wonder if we could swap her out to like a toucan or something. I feel like we need a longer beak than a pigeon.
Okay, an ostrich? You want the long throat?
Why did you say toucan like people say Afghanistan?
It's because I'm not doing
toucan discussion. toucan.
If you've actually met a toucan, they pronounce it like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not Iran, it's Iran, and so it's toucan.
Haven't you ever met Toucan Sam?
Yeah,
Toucan Samir actually is Lebanese.
Wow.
The honest answer is I would be intimidated by a beak that long. There's no way that's way too big. Let's be real.
Jagged bits on the bottom.
Jamie's got that CIA cock, so he's rocking the hog, you know.
Yeah.
I think that would constitute a Lore Boys.
Lore Boys. Out.